So I'm going to briefly start amortization tables. What does an amortization table do? It breaks down the loan of the payments themselves. Most of you, if you have an online account and you have a loan, you should be able to access this, but I will show you how to actually calculate that. What is an amortization? It's the time required to pay off a loan or a mortgage. It's also known as the term. Here's where it gets tricky. The province, for the most part, gives you partially filled in tables, but we will also explore the ones you have to fill in completely. Okay, so here it is. Jamal purchased a vehicle for $12,000. He had to borrow $10,000 because he had $2,000 down, right? So he doesn't need to borrow the entire amount. 4.25% over 3 years. He has to pay $29.69 per $1,000 of loan. Complete the table below. A, calculate the monthly payment. To figure out the payment, I already give you that answer there. It's $10,000 because that's what you borrowed times $29.69 over 1,000. Okay. And if you do this, you get a monthly payment of $296.90. That part is usually, I'm going to give you that for an amortization table. I won't make you calculate that from scratch on a test because there's too many things that need to be done on a table like this. Watch this. Once you have your payment, it doesn't change. So you come into your amortization table, and I'll just warn you, it looks a little different sometimes when the province presents this to you, but the payment is usually over here. So you got to know that it's $296.90 every single month. For the purposes of time today, I'm going to ask you to just kind of ignore this one. We're just going to do 2 months. If it's a 3-year loan, how many months are there technically? How many of these would we have to do? 36, right? 3 times 12. Good luck doing that by hand and not making a mistake, right? So I think if I show you 2 months, you guys got the picture. So this is where the payment doesn't change, but the interest portion of this payment and the principal portion of that payment will change. Okay? So for the interest, we use this one. Unpaid balance times interest rate divided by 100. All of that divided by 12. So I'll just give you the little formula at the top of this. So what is your unpaid balance at the very beginning, month number 1? $10,000. So you go 10,000. What's my interest rate divided by 100? It's 0.0425. Do not round at this point. All of that gets divided by 12. So 10,000. So on your very first payment, 35, this is the bigger number that should go in that cell. So $35 or so is interest on the very first month. Which means how much of this this payment is going to be principal for that? If I know this, I take this away from the payment. Everything else goes towards paying off my loan. So if you want to have a little formula here, I basically go payment minus interest. Okay. So I'm going to go 296.90 minus 35.42. You've done this before, right, guys? You should have seen this in grade 11. I'm going to go talk to your teachers from last year. That's okay. We'll get you through this, okay? So you take the payment, you subtract this interest. The bank basically says, thank you very much. They take it off, and then the rest is principal. So 296.90 minus 35.42. Okay? So what does this number do, guys? It goes towards principal. It goes towards paying off your loan. So you take this number and you go minus 261.48. I will highlight that in a bit. So 10,000 minus 261.48. So at the end of the first payment or the first month, you're going to owe the bank $97.38.52. Okay, guys, that's month number 1. Now you owe a little bit less. So what do you think is going to happen to your interest on the second month? It's also going to go down a little bit, okay? So what do? We take the new unpaid balance. Make sure you write this down or else you're going to struggle with this. You take that new unpaid balance, you bring it over here, and guess what? It's still 0.0425 interest. We still divide it by 12. So if you have a bunch of different colors, I'm just going to show you, right, that this number came over here. So it's like a new unpaid balance. It's not going to be much less, but it is going to be less. So 97.38.52 times 0.0425 divided by 12. 34.49. That's what you should be observing, that it's dropping a little bit. And now my payment is still $296.90. I'm going to subtract the $34.49 from it. And you get $262.41. No matter what, guys, okay, listen to this one. These two here, I'm going to use 2 pencils. These 2 numbers should always add up to your payment, okay, guys? You're basically breaking down your payment into how much is interest, how much goes towards paying off my loan. Right? Now you owe this much. Second month, it repeats itself. So out of this payment, how much is interest? How much goes towards paying off your loan? So we're going to go minus 262.41. So you're actually paying off a little bit more because you owe less. So you take that 97.38.52 minus 262.41. And now you have, that is your new unpaid balance. Can you just follow me here a little bit? I will call this PMT in general. I call this lowercase I. I call this lowercase p. And this is my unpaid balance, right? So if you're wondering where are those letters coming from, that's where I get that from. So how much did you pay in total over the 2 months? Let's change all of these 3s to 2s. At the bottom here. Change all of these. How much did you pay in total over 2 months? Well, it's 2 times 296.90. So you paid in total in 2 months $593.80. Make sure you write this down. Okay. How much interest did you pay over the 2 months? You just add these up. I'm going to show the work here. 35.42 plus 34.49. So you paid $69.91 in interest the first 2 months. How much went towards principal? You just add up 261 and 262 here, right? 261, 48, plus 262, 41. That's 523.89. Okay, so that's kind of just showing you a little bit over the first 2 months what happened. Okay? All right, I would like you to try for tomorrow, okay? I'm not asking a whole lot. I want you to try page 38. Just making sure you can even get started now, because